Hello everyone, this is Ala. So back in this tutorial I'll show you how to install DNS and DHCP server roles on Windows Server 2012 R2 using PowerShell commands. So here we go. First I'll make the virtual machine full screen. So I'm running Windows Server 2012 R2 on VMware virtual machine. So we open our PowerShell window. So I have here a static IP address. Let's verify our IP address. Properties, protocol, properties. Okay, here we go. So I have an IP address of 10.1.1.110 with a subnet mask of 24. Default gateway of 10.1.1.1. It's another server that I'm shutting down right now actually. Okay, here we go. So first, to determine the packages we need to install, we'll type this command: get Windows feature star DHCP star comma star DNS star. So the star actually is a wildcard that tries to apply a search filter that will get anything that has DHCP. Star at the beginning, what's before DHCP, if any. The star at the end, what's behind DHCP in the name, actually the name of the package, if any. Search. So here we go. We got 4 results: DHCP, DNS, RSAT-DHCP, remote server administration tools, and the same thing for DNS. To install these 2 roles, we'll have to type install -Windows feature, and we start one by one. DHCP, comma DNS, comma space DNS, comma space, and so on. We hit enter. So as you can see, the installation started, and on the top it shows the progress of the installation. It should complete so quickly because these are not too heavy packages. Great. So here we got our result: success, true; restart needed, no; exit code, success; and the feature result, so what we have installed. Before, if you realize here, actually, as you can see, when we run earlier the get -Windows feature DHCP DNS, we got the packages, but next to them there is no X here that shows that they are installed, and the install state was mentioning available. Let's see what will happen now if we run this command again. Yes, as you can see here, there's a check mark and X next to each feature, and the install state, it says installed for all. Okay, great. Yeah, that's to clear the screen. So now if we go to our server manager, here as you can see we have only one role: file unstored services. If we refresh the server, as you can see here, we have the DHCP role installed, the DNS role installed. First, let's configure our DNS server. I will do a primary zone. It's going to be a forward zone. So I will name it iMeruginet.com. Next. So I'm going to allow for now both non-secure and secure, both non-secure and secure dynamic updates. This option is grayed out actually because the server is in standalone mode. It's not a member of an Active Directory forest or domain. Next, finish. Great. So I will create now a new zone, but a reverse zone this time. The difference actually between a forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone, the forward zone is a direct zone. It converts host names, FQDNs, into IP addresses, and this is the purpose of a DNS server in a network infrastructure. The reverse lookup zone actually, it was created by the American intelligence services, probably the FBI or the CIA. It does the opposite job of the forward lookup zone. So it converts, it resolves IP addresses into host names. So it's used for tracking purposes to track an IP address actually, so that they can verify its source where the traffic is coming from. Here it's an IPv4 reverse lookup zone. Network ID 10.1.1. This is our network ID. Next. Same thing, I will allow both secure and non-secure. Finish. Great. So if I go here, I have one zone in our forward lookup, and I have one zone in our reverse lookup. Okay, let's create. So let's go to our forward zone, and let's create a new host name. And I will name it, for example, main SRV. For example, main server. The IP address of this host will be my local server 10.1.1.110. And here it gives you the option. Do you want to create an associated PTR record, a reverse record? Yes, I want to. Add host. The host record main server was successfully created. Here we have another thing, if you want to do, that we can do. So if I go to this zone, I have new host, I have new alias, CNAME. This is actually just an alias to the pointing to the A record host that we created earlier. Sometimes the A record might be a little hard to retain. The name might be a bit complicated. So the purpose of the alias is just to create a shortcut, a simpler name that points to the actual A record. So for example, if I create an alias named www, suppose I will have a website pointing to this server, hosted into this server. So instead of typing the host name dot the domain name, actually the full FQDN, I can have an FQDN much simpler by using just an alias. I'll go to browse, I'll choose my server, and I will choose the host A, the A record that our CNAME will point to and will refer to. Also, please note that an A record can have more than an alias. For example, I can create another alias, name it FTP, for example. And it will refer to the same A record without issues. So now I think that's enough for now. Now let's test our DNS server. I'll open PowerShell again. I will use the NSLOOKUP tool. Okay, sorry. I know why. There's something I need to do. For now, let's make the DNS server our local DNS server, not the other server actually, which is turned off right now. And let's not select a gateway for now. Okay. If I open PowerShell again now, great, it detects the default server. As you can see here, it detects my default server, mainserver.imruginet.com, with its IP address. So for example, I want to resolve ftp.imruginet.com. Great. Here are the results. So it says the name, the actual name for the actual name for the A record. It's mainserver.imruginet.com. The address is 10.1.1.1110. The aliases is FTP. It's not required for the alias actually for the DNS to return all the aliases available. It answers only the question it was provided. So for example, www, as you can see, it resolves it. And it gives the aliases www because we inquired only about www. We didn't inquire about FTP in this time. As you can see, it's working fine. All good. So now, let's try our DHCP server. Here actually, yeah. This is a step that we can do to complete the configuration of our DHCP server. It just creates two security groups, DHCP administrators and DHCP users. Commit, done, complete. So it says please restart the DHCP server. Okay, we'll do it. I will open the DHCP server console. Right click on the root node of the server. All tasks, so I should first click on the little arrow to expand the content. Now if I go to all tasks, as you can see, I have the restart. So I restart my server. If I refresh, as you can see, all good. Okay, so here we'll create a new scope in the IPv4. So I'll expand new scope. Next, name, I will name it, for example, internal clients. Next, the description here is optional. You can give a description that will help you remember what's the purpose of this scope, but in our case it's optional. Next, here we should select a start range and an end range. So 10.1.1.10 to 10.1.1.20, for example. The length, it's a 24 length mask. Here it's asking you, do you need any exclusion, any exceptions or delay? No. I don't want any exceptions. Here's the lease duration. So once an IP address is leased to a host, to a workstation, how long should it stay? So by default, it's 8 days. We'll leave it by default. Here it's asking to configure the DHCP options, the router, default gateway, DNS, the default domain. There are other DHCP options. We'll see them later. So for now, we can configure these three. Router, it's going to be our server, 10.1.1.110. Next, parent domain, we have only one, so it's imerging.net.com. Server name, so let's write that actually, FTP resolve. Oh, sorry, I should have typed the full qualified domain name. Here we go. So it's resolved, that's fine. So first I remove that actually, and I will add this one. Okay, great. Here it was added. Next. Here it's asking me for if I do have any Win server, any NetBIOS names. No, I don't have any Win server installed, so I skip. Next. Do you want to activate the scope now? Yes, we need to. If we want our DHCP to start serving hosts, we need to have it activated. Otherwise, it's not going to start, it's not going to lease any address. Next. Finish. Create. So here's our scope. Created. Status is active. Server options. What's wrong with it? Scope options, sorry. Scope options. We have our router, default gateway, DNS servers, DNS domain name. Okay. Look, so here we'll try the same as we did now, but with an interesting method using PowerShell commands. So for now, I'm going to delete this scope. I will open PowerShell, clear screen. So add DHCP server v4 scope dash name. We can give a name, any name. So, internal clients dash start range dash end range dash subnet mask 255.255.0 state active. Okay, great. So here we have our scope created, but the scope doesn't have any options. Here's how to do it. Set DHCP server v4 option value dash router, and we give the address of our router dash DNS domain, and then we give the name of our domain dash DNS server 10.1.1.110. Enter. So you're just trying to verify if there's any valid DNS server in 1110, which it did actually. So we can verify if our scope is ready by typing the following command: get DHCP server v4 scope dash scope ID, and you give the network ID. Here are. So here we have our scope ID, our subnet mask, our name, our state, and the start range and the end range. We can always go to our DHCP console and refresh, and here it is. Here it is. There it is. The range, just configured it. Scope options. Here we go. The three of them are here. So we can always test if our DHCP server is working and ready to serve clients. I will open the Linux machine that I have. Actually, I will change this to VMnet 3 because this is the type of VMnet that I have in my Windows 2012 server. I will power on the machine. Here it says that the SATA 01 is not available actually. So would you like to try to connect? No, I'm not gonna do it every time. So our Ubuntu should start soon, and let's see if it will get a DHCP address from our server. Okay. I'll just verify and double check my DNS server, so it's all good. Here all the roles, as you can see, are green. No issues so far. Okay, so it's asking me to enter my password. Okay, let's open the terminal and see if we got any IP address or no. So in Linux it's if config, and guess what? Can you see that? 10.1.1.10 netmask 255.255.255.0. In Linux, there's no such command like ipconfig /all, but there is a way to show what is the IP address of the DHCP server and what is the IP address of the DNS server. It's nmcli dev show and the interface. In my case, as you can see here, the name is ENS33. Enter. Okay. So the type is an Ethernet. Here's the MAC address. What's more important for us is the IP gateway. As you can see, it's 1.1.1.1110 and 110, which is our server, if you remember. The DNS, it's 10.1.1.1.1110 again. As you can see, the DNS domain is imruginet.com. And the router, where is it? Yes, the router is the gateway actually. Here it is. It's our router. So all good. Here we go, all good. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Please, if you like it, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much and have a good day.